Chapter 10 Artificial Intelligence Sheep Monsters, in which the first enemy mobs choose their turns in the map. We'll add NPC monsters to the game, mainly with an AI. Our player can finally move around, but is quite alone. We haven't added any monsters yet. To do so, we must make them decide what to do, how to take their turns. We need to create some monster action-picking logic, so-called AI, artificial intelligence. Here, intelligence is a generous term, given that a lot of game AI involves little, if any, actual intelligence. Once we have AI code to decide the actions of our monsters, getting monsters into the game is almost as simple as throwing a new mob into the turns queue. The AI will do the rest. Monsters are 95% their AI, the rest being 4% mob turn queue and 1% empty mob husk. Naively and ideally, the monsters should have all kinds of ideas for being sneaky and deceitful and aggressive, choosing between attacking, hiding, moving about, casting spells. However, we will start with more modest ambitions, just getting our monster to chase the player in a primitive way. AI, more art than int. This may reveal itself to be a good thing. As you get a feel for monster AI, you may find most players prefer enemies that are not all-powerful fiends. What often makes for a better game is monsters behaving a bit like chess pieces, each recognizable monster having some different specific qualities, which requires the player to deal with them as separate kinds of threat to balance, and against which to employ specific tactics. One monster might explode if he ever gets close to you, like the creepers in Minecraft. One monster might prefer to keep a distance, shooting arrows at you unless you are at close range. Your tactic might be to hug him. Another monster might steal some of your stuff if he ever gets next to you. And yet another monster might cause confusion effects on you. A tactic might be to fight him in a hallway. Another monster may have a habit of teleporting you to himself. Some monsters might summon or wake up other monsters, and some might multiply if left unchecked. In short, the possibilities and variations are endless. If all monsters did all of these things all of the time, most tactics would go out the window and revert to hide in the cellar or run for the hills. However, there are people who prefer really hard enemies. Those kinds of players may especially like playing against other human opponents, which one might reasonably expect to match their skill level. We are about to design one of our simplest chess pawns, which will be Ez, the hunting feral sheep. We will later have A for ants, B for bats, and C for cats, as we make the game more complex. But for now, let's focus on sheep. First, we need an interface for AIs. 05 AI, 10 mob AI if, the mob AI interface, with a single method, the turn method. Then we may create AI classes for various behaviors. Our first hunt the player AI is 10 mob AI 1 sheep, like this. So it will find the direction to the enemy and then use the move command to move in the direction of that enemy and then execute it. It requires us to add the deer helper, direction helper on world point, which will look like this. For our AI to take effect, we will need it in the NPC turn loop, so we need it in base screen. We'll not create it directly in base screen, because we have plenty of ideas for different kinds of AI, and therefore we must be able to substitute them. So instead, we will add the AI to our builder, and the builder must also start creating the enemy monsters for us. The interface 10 build if2 becomes this. So the method make AI. So we make 03 build 10 builder 2a by cloning and renaming our previous builder 1, and we update it to look like this. We only show the new and changed parts listed here. So we construct the AI, and we do this in the make AI, and then we have methods that add a ring of sheep using a method that's called mob ring, which makes a kind of circle area thing where it puts monsters inside a ring, and it uses a method add NPC to add the single mobs. In base screen, we will then update the method NPC turn to, instead of doing nothing, it will now use the AI. So NPC turn gets the game AI. If it has an AI, it will execute the turn method on that AI. We can run our bits now with the index 10 AI sheep method, which just instantiates our new builder. If all our bits worked out okay, we should now have a monster sheep running around after us. Because we improved the move command in the player chapter, the monsters will not walk through walls nor through each other. We placed the monsters in a circle to set the scene for some action. If we had just placed the monsters immediately next to the player, he would be blocked in before anything could happen. We placed the player in the middle of the screen to distance him from the enemies, but still in trouble, surrounded by them. The center player method. The monsters now chase us. Because our monsters are hunters, they should soon swarm us. Mobs block each other's way. We can't step onto a tile occupied by another mob. This blocks us in so we can't move and prohibits the game from going further. So eventually we are blocked in by our opponents with no way out and no way to fight back. We can just annoy each other by blocking. Yeah! If only we could fight back.